What's it like living in Newport, Oregon? Well, in this video, we're going to show you everything you need to know about Newport, and all that starts now. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Clem with the Home Team Brokers coming to you from the Oregon coast. And in this video, we're gonna talk about all things Newport, Oregon. Newport is right at the heart, right at the center of the Oregon coast in Lincoln County. It's one of the bigger towns on the Oregon coast. You have over 10,000 people here in Newport, very comparable in size to Lincoln City to the north and Florence a little bit further to the south. These are three towns on the central Oregon coast that really have a lot of similarities. I think it's easy to draw a lot of comparison. I think for a lot of people relocating to the Oregon coast, if you are interested in Lincoln City, if you're interested in Florence, Newport is definitely going to check some of the boxes as well. When you look at a town like Lincoln City, you have a lot more continuous stretch of beach. You have a lot more oceanfront or beachfront real estate. I think in Lincoln City, you have maybe a little bit of a higher volume of larger beachfront homes than you do in Newport. And then in Florence, it's going to be a little more laid back. It's going to be a little quieter. It's going to be a little less heavy on the tourism. There's not as much beach access in Florence. The little downtown area is great, but it is smaller, it's less bustling and less busy than you have in Newport. So again, some similarities with these towns on the central Oregon coast, but Newport, what we're talking about in this video, really has it all. Definitely a big tour, attraction and a big hub for tourism. It's really easy to access from most of Western Oregon. So if you're anywhere from Eugene up to Portland, anywhere in between, really where most people in Oregon live, you're gonna be able to get to Newport very easily. And Newport, again, really has it all. So whether you are living there full time or it's a place that you wanna visit periodically, maybe have a second home or vacation home or just vacation to, there's so much to do there. And again, there's so much that caters to tourism. So you have the bay and the bayfront. You have Nye Beach, so you have that beachfront, oceanfront. You have South Beach as well, a little bit quieter, but down there you have like the Oregon Coast Aquarium. You have the Rogue Brewery. Ton of great restaurants, shopping. There's a hospital there in Newport. So again, really everything that you would need. That's why we're highlighting it in this video, right? It's a place that a lot of people end up really being attracted to. It's a place that a lot of people end up really inquiring about and ultimately relocating to for folks who are relocating to the Oregon coast. All right, now before we go any further, if this is your first time to the channel or you've been here and you haven't already and you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. And we've helped so many people relocate to Oregon and move to the Oregon coast, and as real estate professionals, we love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video and schedule a Zoom call with us. Either way, we would love to help with your move to the Oregon coast. So Newport itself, over 10,000 people, like I mentioned, so a relatively populated area for a town on the Oregon coast, and Newport is over 10 square miles. So a pretty big geographical footprint and a lot of variety in terms of what you can get as well. So again, a common theme in what we'll talk about in this video is that Newport really has it all as far as what you would be looking for, the type and style of living, the type and style of home, the type of scenery or aesthetic that you would want in a home and in an immediate area and in a town and in a region when we're looking at the Oregon coast. So there are many faces to Newport. You start to get into Nye Beach, and definitely one of the more popular neighborhoods in Newport is Nye Beach. This is like the seaside town. This is the little beachfront community in Newport. This area reminds me a lot of what a town like Cannon Beach has to offer on a smaller scale, along with some other towns on the Oregon coast that are really true beachfront communities. And Nye Beach is not an enormous neighborhood. I think it's something like, maybe 10 by 5 blocks, something to that effect. You'll get a pretty good variety here as well. There's not a ton of enormous homes. There are some newer homes that have been built, so there are some newer development, but you do have a lot of older homes. This is an older area with a rich history. And then you have right along Coast Street there, you have all the businesses, the shops, the restaurants, the bars, the tap house, the coffee shops, all that good stuff. So it's a very cool setting and environment to live in. Definitely very highly desirable, depending on what you're looking for. So if you are relocating to the Oregon coast and looking for a real true beachfront community, with the shops and restaurants right there at your doorstep, Nye Beach, definitely you can't go wrong. Now, if we continue to move south in Newport, we start to get into the Yaquina Bay, and the Yaquina Bayfront in Newport is iconic. So this is definitely the biggest tourist hub in Newport. So you have a real high volume of really great restaurants and shops. And you have Rogue Brewing has a pub there. You can see the sea lions. You can see all the commercial fishing operations. It's really cool. It's always really bustling. You have like the Ripley's Believe It or Not, for example. So there's a lot of things there on the bayfront that attract a lot of tourism. So it's always really busy and really bustling. If you go a little bit further past the strip along the bayfront, you get into a really cool neighborhood that really feels like a nice suburban neighborhood. It feels really unlike a lot of what many Oregon coast towns have to offer. This is a neighborhood that you could put in really any run-of-the-mill suburb, kind of anywhere in the country as far as the size, the style of homes, single-family homes, cul-de-sacs and nice winding streets kind of going up a hill. And with a lot of these homes, though, you can get bay views and even ocean views a little further off in the distance. So this is a really nice area there up above Yaquina Bay. This is probably an area where a higher volume of full-time residents live too. So these aren't beach homes. These aren't, beach cottages, things like that. This is, again, just a kind of a very typical suburban neighborhood, but also really very nice and offers a nice contrast. If you want to move to the Oregon coast but live in an area like that, you have that option. You're still right in town. You have the bay, and you have, of course, the beaches in relatively close proximity. Okay, so then from the north side of the bay, you cross the big, beautiful bridge to get to South Beach. So South Beach is definitely removed from the rest of Newport. It definitely feels like it's removed from the rest of Newport. A lot like what it feels like north of Yaquina Head on the north side of town as well. A little bit removed from town. South Beach is going to be a little quieter, a little more laid back. Aside from right there on the bay, on the south side, you have the Rogue Brewery, you have the Oregon Coast Aquarium, you have the Hatfield Marine Science Center. I believe NOAA is there. You have an EPA office, I think. So you have some federal agencies and even international agencies like NOAA that operate right there. But then continuing further south on the highway down 101, you have the South Beach State Park. You do have a little gated community there. You have some residential development. On the east side of the highway, you kind of go up the hill a little bit, and there's a ton of new construction going on in there. There's a community college right there, so some of that could be catered to students. You do have like some townhouses and some multifamily living up there, but some relatively undeveloped land that is being developed right now with what looks like, several dozen, maybe over 100, 200 homes and units up in that area. So all the way up north, you have this residential development north of the Yaquina Head, where you have the Yaquina Head Lighthouse, kind of a big iconic landmark for not just Newport, but for the Oregon coast, is this Yaquina Head Lighthouse. So on the north side and on the north side of town, you have some residential development in there. You get a pretty big variety in terms of what you can get there. There's a lot of development just north of the Yaquina Head, where you have a pretty level, flat neighborhood. And then along this ridge, you have some oceanfront homes. So you can get some nice big luxury style oceanfront homes. You can get homes that are a bit more modest. And then a lot in this area isn't necessarily going to be oceanfront or have those ocean views. But you are really close to town, and again, there is a lot of variety that you can get in this area. At any rate, Newport, very diverse, very dynamic in terms of what you can get, both in town but also in the immediate area. Again, you have Lincoln City. It's about 30 minutes north, so another larger town. Florence is going to be a little bit further away going south. Florence is going to be a little closer to like 45, maybe 50 minutes, and it's a little bit of a windy road, one of the tougher stretches on the Oregon coast, going over Cape Perpetua and then Hasita Head and then finally dropping down into Florence. But in between that stretch too, between Newport and Florence, you have Waldport, great little town. You have the Alsea Bay there, and then Yaha. It's definitely a fan favorite. Definitely one of the cooler little Oregon coast towns. So from Newport, Waldport, Yaha, very accessible as well. There are a lot of stretches just outside of town of beaches that are probably a little less frequented. So a lot of the public, well, they're all public beaches, but a lot of the public access points and a lot of the beaches that are in town, whether it's in Newport, in Lincoln City, in Florence, wherever it is, are going to be a little bit busier because people are staying in town. They're getting lunch, they're getting dinner, whatever it is, and they're going to the beach right there. But there are a lot of beaches along this stretch that are going to be a little bit quieter, a little bit more laid back, and again, a little less frequented, so you can get out and get a little more peace and quiet, even though if you were living in town in Newport, it's going to be a little bit busier, a little more bustling. Also, from Newport, you are just due west of Corvallis, Oregon. So Corvallis is a town of about 60,000 people. It's a college town. Oregon State University is there. So, you're just about an hour to Corvallis. From Corvallis, you can get up to Salem. You can get down to Eugene. You can really even get up to Portland in about 2 hours from Newport, maybe a little more, depending on traffic, time of day, and things like that. But, from Newport, you are able to access other parts of Oregon, other parts of Western Oregon in particular, pretty quickly, pretty easily, with a highway right there in town in Newport that goes east, and you'll hit Corvallis first. Now, fun fact, you have this Highway 20 that you access from Newport going east. You can actually take Highway 20 all the way to Boston, Massachusetts. So when you get on the highway, you'll see a sign right there that says Boston 3,000 miles away or whatever it is. It's kind of cool to see. But either way, if you are thinking about moving to the Oregon coast, if the central Oregon coast, if Newport is a town that really has caught your eye, and maybe you want to talk more about Newport or about towns that are similar, that will similarly check some boxes for you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video and schedule a Zoom call with us. Either way, we would love to help with your move to the Oregon coast. And if this video was helpful, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. And if you want to get more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. As always, we really appreciate you watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you later.